Before we get to our interview, I'm excited to tell you about our presenting sponsor, Carlisle Place at Home. It's basically a long-term care program that combines the comfort of staying at your home with the benefits of being part of a life plan community. It is Georgia's first and only membership-based life care at home program. Membership is available to individuals beginning at age 62 through 80, and it continues throughout the member's lifetime. The program is designed for independent and active seniors who want to plan for their future health care and for protection for their financial assets while aging in place. A smart decision that relieves the burden of caregiving from your family while providing you peace of mind. Don't worry, you'll get all the amenities as the residents do, like their 2 great restaurants, special events, trips, exercise, a wonderful gym, and even pickleball. We all know how popular that is. Call and make an appointment today to find out more. I did. Hi, I'm Mark Ballard. This is my Genuinely Southern podcast where I will share Southern stories and perspectives that show just how unique our South is. Growing up in the South gives people a little different perspective to life. I've always used the South to inspire me in my artwork, my writings, and even my food. I've been telling stories about the South for years. In my newspaper articles, my magazines, I even had a television show. The South is more than a region to me. It's genuinely a way of life. That's why I'm excited to share these Southern stories with you and introduce you to interesting people. I'm proud to be genuinely Southern, and I can't wait to tell you why. Today I have a special guest. I mean, a really special guest. I have my wife, Deborah Ballard, with us today. And when we're out and about in Macon, one of the most asked questions we get is, how did y'all meet? And boy, do we have a story for you.
Not just around in Macon, but when we travel, too, a lot of times.
Well, people don't understand, but it's a good story. Y'all need to hear it. So
yeah, it's a weird story.
In order to start, we got to go way, way, way back to when I was, 2 and in diapers.
Yeah, we had moved to the neighborhood, my family and I have one little sister, and Mark has one older sister. And so Mark's mother, Jo Ballard, who was absolutely a wonderful woman, came over to the house and asked if Donna and I, my sister and I, could come to a little cookout that she was doing at her house. Because you have to picture this now. My house was here. The school I attended was here.
It was called Groveland Park.
And it was Bloomfield. Y'all lived in Groveland Park. We didn't live there. But anyway, we were across the highway. My house, the school, and then the church right here, all within, even Mother's Beauty.
A picture postcard.
It was.
Except what it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was dirt roads, but then they paved them, so it was okay. Miss Jo comes over, asks us. Mother said, sure. So here we go.
Well, my mother didn't need an excuse to have a barbecue or a cookout or anything. She was a fun mother. We used to play all the time. And so she was your Sunday school teacher, right?
She was for years and years.
And I think it was related to church.
Yes, it was. Like that little 8-year-old, I think it was 8 and 9-year-old girls. It was a new community. It was a new kind of subdivision.
Mother was a trailblazer.
She was. She came over, she asked, and Mark said his mother was very fun. Mine, bless her heart, was a schizophrenic. And so we didn't realize at the time exactly what was wrong, but I think everybody knew that there was something.
You didn't talk about stuff like that.
Well, you didn't. You didn't.
And people didn't understand it was a real condition.
Right.
Just like if you had a heart attack or anything else. But we just knew something was weird.
Yes, I know. Bless her heart. But anyway, so Mother said yes, and so off we go with Miss Jo. Got there, and there were a lot of little girls there, and
in the backyard. And let me just add,
what you're interrupting me.
I know, in the backyard. I want to give y'all some perspective. When I was little, I thought it was the biggest yard when I was I drive by there now, and it looks like it would be like 2 swipes. I'm surprised the tent fit into the backyard. A little postage stamp
yard. And then here's Mark running around in his diaper.
No shirt,
just in his diaper, just as cute as he is now.
Of course.
Absolutely. That was the first time, I guess I can say this, we ever slept together. It ended up turning into a little camp out, and Mark crawled in between me and my new best friend and just went to sleep.
Just cuddle.
So absolutely, just precious. So years
Time's
went. Yeah, time is
travel.
traveling, and basically it was me, and then Mark's sister, and then my sister and Mark.
I was
the
the
four of
youngest.
us. Yes, Mark
It
was the
comes up in the
youngest.
story later.
Yeah, and back then the age difference was a lot. It was a lot of difference.
Well, you go through that period where when you're little it's a lot, and then when everybody gets in their mid-30s and all, you don't know, and then
No.
as you age.
But Mark came out 30 anyway, so I really do. So anyway, we went to the same church for years and years, Bethesda Baptist. It's
I was
not
a
there
little more
anymore.
religious than Deborah was, our family, because my daddy was chairman of the board of deacons. We were there. He had keys to the church. We were there every time the door opened. Deborah was sort of like not just those people that come at Easter or Christmas.
No, I was
But-
not. I got perfect attendance at Sunday school 1 year.
That was because she was trying to please my mom.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, go on.
All right, we're at church, and if you look back on this whole period, you know how sometimes in stories they use a foreshadowing of what's to come?
Yes.
Well, we just did a little bit of everything together. Mark was very artistic. We had a great youth group there.
We planned productions.
Yes,
to
we
do.
put on plays. One night we had an ice cream social after the evening service on Sunday, and we actually had a program planned on love. So all the songs dealt with love.
We did what we call sweetheart banquets.
Oh, yes.
So anyhow, we did a Hawaii thing one time, and I thought it'd be a great idea to go somewhere and get sand, make a dock, like you would get
You were getting off a cruise ship and
and-
going down the little
and then the
gangplank
sandy
there.
beach, which never occurred to me that we had to
Oh,
clean
but
out
let's
that
tell them
sand.
about how we got the sandy beach. I was married by then.
She was
and
married before.
That's right. I took Henry's brand new Buick. We lined his trunk with some kind of plastic and went over on Williamson Road here
In
in
the
Macon
dark of night.
and shoveled sand into his trunk, and then went and shoveled it into the fellowship hall.
And this is like on a Saturday night, and it had to be cleaned
yeah,
out.
so we didn't think about the next day being church.
But boy, it made for good pictures.
That's right, it did.
Yeah.
But we did things like that, and
We grew up together.
we did, and I will never forget. Mark and I decided to sing a song, and y'all probably remember
And
it.
we're not singing it now.
No, we won't, but I'll sing a little bit of it. Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Maybe we're ragged and funny, but we'll travel along singing a song side by side. Now, can you believe that? Then one time I took
What, the singing or the song?
well, both. But anyway, I took them to the fair one night. It was when it was still in Macon. It was a big deal.
Central City Park, which is now Carolyn Creighton
Creighton
Park.
Park. Well, it was called the Georgia State Fair
And
at
people
that
don't
point in time.
understand now because when you say fair, they immediately think of Perry.
Perry. And and we do have the Georgia National
Fair there.
Fairgrounds there, and they're wonderful
But
for all
we
kinds
had,
of
because
events.
we didn't know any better, because we had only had one fair, we had a pretty good fair.
Yeah, it was big. Spread all over, lots of rides and lots of exhibits. And one of my favorite things were the corn that they did. And there was another thing. Oh, you like the elephant ears, yeah, or something.
Cinnamon rolls.
Oh, you could just eat your way around that fair. It was wonderful.
The one thing I remember about it in Macon is
All the kids got the Monday off of school,
school,
to go to
and
the fair.
it was always cold. You had to get your top coat on to go. This is in Macon.
Yeah.
And from that point on, you had to wear a coat.
Yeah.
Now you could be on Christmas Day and it'd be 100 degrees.
We have built a fire and turned the air conditioner on here. So,
So
I've always told people, if you don't like the weather today in Macon, just hang around till
But in
tomorrow.
my mind as a child and growing up in Macon, I always associated that as the cut. That was like, not when you went back to school, but that was when it finally turned into cold
Yeah,
weather.
because
And
we
you would
always
co-
at Halloween had to put on our
Oh, yeah.
coats or
You were
bundle up
sweating
under
underneath
your
that stuff,
costume.
yeah.
Yes.
So we decided to go
For the
because
fair.
Our fair.
And Mark wanted to win a prize by having a person guess his age. And
Because back then I looked older.
yeah,
than
he did. He looked
my
older.
age.
Now he's looked younger. But anyway, yes, you do, darling. So I had a really big, thick gold wedding band, and he said, "Give me your wedding band." I said,
Because I knew that would help trick
yes.
the man. That
So
was,
anyway, I gave it to him. He walked over there. The guy thought you were like 25, 26.
it was, some
And you were what,
stupid gift.
16?
Yes, and so then I get back over there, and Deborah, of course, the first thing she wants is her ring back,
Yeah, I can't
and
go
I
home
can't
without
get
the
it
ring.
off.
Nope.
So she takes me over to where those little plastic ducks are floating around in that swamp
You know,
water,
they came around like in a circle, and you grabbed one to see what you had won. And most of them
and
didn't win
just
anything.
stuck my hand. And if those of you that don't know me, I am a germaphobe. I mean, I have got Perel. I've got a backpack right now with Perel in it where I can clean everything with Deborah's stuff. And into that, looked like it came from the Ocmulgee River water.
Yeah.
Just trying to get that ring off.
Oh, I finally did, part of the skin probably, but yeah, I went home with my wedding
So that was
band.
your second foreshadowing?
Yeah, that was my second foreshadowing. So, Mark...
Well, Deborah was the only one that could drive. You're forgetting that part.
Oh, yeah.
So we called her the big one because if we had to go anywhere, we had to depend on her wheels. And that was back in the days where gas was expensive, nothing like today. But
Oh, no,
we all had to chip
I could
in.
fill up my Pinto with like $5.
But whoever
and
was
go-
riding in the car had to chip in 50 cents or $1 so
Yeah.
we could, you're riding
So
in
we
here,
could
you got to
go,
give us
that's
a little
right.
thing. It's like riding a bus. But Deborah took us around.
I did, and they did call me the big one. Now, I've always been a big person, but that's not what they meant in this case. It's if they got in trouble, then somebody would come over and they'd go, talk to the big one over there.
we were good passing the blame on to Deborah. She was the oldest, however,
That's right.
and married. So.
You know what, that just brought up a memory. We were having some kind of church retreat up at Indian Springs.
They had the best yeast rolls that I got.
I know, so we're up in Indian Springs.
Indian Springs, which was near Griffin, up in that area.
Jackson and Griffin. I believe it's a state park, but it was, had been occupied, of course, by the Native Americans and everything, and it was a beautiful spot. And
They had
someone
like
had come in and
mess
built,
hall,
had a big hall,
barracks.
meeting,
It was just like when you see those movies about when they do summer camp. It just had that kind
Exactly.
of feel. We always had a production that we worked on, and we
yes,
did
absolutely.
there because we would put on a Broadway show.
Oh,
we
yes.
we didn't have any money really, and growing up,
But y'all
neither
think
one of
about
us, we didn't know.
teenagers, some of these kids were like 7, 8, 9 years old. And we were the older. Well, you weren't. You were middle, and then I was older. But anyway, they were really good.
Yes, and it was like we've got talent before all these shows.
Yeah.
But the deal was we had to take things that didn't cost much and turn them into something wonderful.
Exactly.
And luckily, y'all had me to like do all the artwork and all the backdrops
Thank
and
God.
stuff like that.
Mark had supervised all of us to make him backdrops.
I basically
and again,
did.
I was the only one who could drive, so I was probably 23, and maybe you were 23, 16, maybe not even 16 yet. So anyway, we couldn't get them into this big old car that I now had since I had married Henry. And so we held them out on top of the car and, did this with our hands.
Freezing.
Yes. All right, so all of this stuff is going on. In 1976, Henry T-Y-E, and I got married. Henry was a fine person. 1976, got married, and Mark was actually at the wedding.
That was what was so funny. Years later, like all these years later, I'm cleaning out a drawer, and I find both of our wedding books, or the two wedding books, and I thought, I'm going to sit there
these
and
are the
look through
albums,
Deborah's and look through, because I knew Henry too. And so I'm looking closer and closer and closer, and I realized that I couldn't even drive and was sitting with my parents at her first wedding. So I've attended both weddings.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what.
That was a big foreshadowing.
You've always wanted a prize for that, and I'm not sure what to give you. But anyway,
Well,
I know, it was kind of weird. So anyway, Mark is 17, I believe, and he gets accepted into the Atlanta College of Art. And we were all so excited for him because he had been artistic since I can remember, way back. So he
got a scholarship.
Yeah, he got a scholarship. He went to Atlanta, and I didn't see him much.
Yeah, we weren't
then.
as close anymore,
No.
but I do remember I got a phone call from my mom, and she said, "You're not going to believe this. Are you sitting down?" And I was like, "No, what is it?" I'm thinking somebody's died. She said, "Deborah Ty is pregnant." I dropped the phone. I'm like, because, Deborah, even though she was the big one to us, I never did think of you as being...
No, and you
motherly.
have to think about that, and I'm still not.
Especially
but,
with a baby.
Thank God, you were there for the kids. I would have probably eaten them. But the deal is, we saw each other occasionally. Well, 1980 comes around, and
Deborah's got this continual calendar,
I
perpetual
do.
calendar running in her mind.
and I
all the
really
time.
do practice it because I don't want to. I think if I can always remember those things, I won't go completely crazy. So anyway, who knows? Courtney was born in July of 1980. At Thanksgiving, Mark was coming home. I think it was your sister, my sister, maybe your mom. We all went out shopping Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving.
Right.
Had a hoot and a holler.
2 hollers.
2 hollers probably. We really did have a good time. Well, when
So we reconnected.
we did, and so when they got back to my house to drop me off, Miss Jo said, let's go in and see Courtney. Mark hadn't even seen her.
Mother did like children.
She did, so thank God. They came in the house. We visited with Henry, and they played with the baby and everything. And so when they got up finally and left, Henry and I were sitting there, and I was telling him about the day and all, and he said, you know, I love Miss Jo. I said, I've never met anybody that did not love Jo Ballard. He said, but I just don't like Mark at all.
And I was like, what?
I said, Henry, what do you not? Now, y'all have to remember, Henry was a very, very smart person.
Unlike Mark.
No, but he was very...
I see where this is going.
No,
right?
you don't. Let me talk. So Henry was a very quiet person. He was an accountant. You know Mark, and Mark talks a lot, and it's very expressive. And I said, why don't you like Mark? Well, he's just too much. He's just too much. He's too loud.
We get to the third forbearing thing. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We are.
Go ahead.
I said, I just don't know what to say to you, but I will say that if anything ever happened to you, I could live with Mark Ballard. He is one of the funnest people I have ever known in my whole life.
I'm glad you took up for me.
And I do not like you saying stuff about my friends.
Well, there you have it.
So it wasn't a big argument. We go to bed.
Now, this is Thanksgiving.
This is Thanksgiving. My mama and my papa lived in Soperton, Georgia, which is down between Macon and Savannah, a little tiny town. Go to Soperton for Christmas. After we'd had the big lunch and everything, Henry said, I'm going to go out and throw the football with, some of your little cousins. I said, great, because I was in there feeding Courtney. And then it probably had been 10 or 15 minutes, and my 8 or 9-year-old cousin came running in and said, something's wrong with Mr. Henry, y'all come. And we all ran out there. Henry was lying in the road, and he had had a massive heart attack. And when we got
on
Christmas Day, I called my best friend and got her husband, told him what had happened.
And it's so shocking because they also called us.
Yeah.
You just don't think somebody's going to call you and tell you somebody that's healthy and 32.
Well, yeah, he's
right
32
there.
years old. Was very athletic. And so, you would just never have dreamed this.
No.
So anyway, I said, Steve, you're going to have to call over to where the Ties are having their Christmas party, and because I cannot do that. So it took him 3 different phone calls. They kept hanging up on him. Before they would believe him.
Well, it is unbelievable.
So when we all got back to the house, there were cars everywhere.
So let me tell this. We were all out there waiting, and it was sad and everything, and it's Christmas Day, so of course Deborah's house has got a Christmas tree up, Christmas tree decorations, and she said, I want you to get that Christmas tree down. And I was like, there are 100 people here, and your house is tiny, and
it was not tiny.
How am I compared to
what we have now? Yeah.
Well, it was bigger than ours.
Yeah, it was one of those, ranches.
Well, it would have been tiny with 30-something people in the DME trying to get a ladder in there to take the
you're
tree
right
down.
about
We want to
that.
get that
Okay.
Okay, so I just thought maybe she was out of her mind for a second and just put that, continued on living my life, put that behind me, and she came by me again and told me, said, the tree, I want it down. And I'm like, Deborah, you've got to be kidding. I am not kidding, she said. And I thought, okay. So I go get a ladder, and I'm climbing up the thing, asking this lady, can you hold that a second? Can you pass
People you didn't even know.
Excuse me, tap him. Is there a place to sit this angel right there? So anyhow, we got the tree down, and my birthday is December 19th, so I am Mr. Christmas.
Yes. I think that's probably one of the deepest depressions I've ever fallen into. I didn't eat for 10 days.
And what I think is he shouldn't have said something bad about me.
Yeah. Don't think that I haven't thought a million times about that, saying, I could live with Mark Ballard, and then a month later to the date this happens.
It should have been
all right. So
investigated.
anyway, Mark would come home, and he was really close to my sister. My sister had moved in with me to help with the baby and all, and so he'd come over and they'd cook supper. And
Deborah did not eat, I don't think, for like 2 weeks.
Well, it was 10 days exactly.
And so to give you a little, I'm up at the Atlanta College of Art, which is now SCAD in Atlanta. I'm an OCD person that's a model student. I was up there, had done so well in that school that I was into my last, semester or whatever it's called, and they had let me have independent study.
Right.
I could give them what I wanted to work on, come up with some kind of project, and then I just had to check in with them like every 3 weeks or something. So every Friday, I would come back home and
I was working for the Macon Telegraph at the time. 1981 goes on, and I think this was probably in September maybe of that year, I think. My boss wanted to take all of the managers to a conference that was being held in Atlanta. And
So Deborah thought, Mark is in Atlanta anyhow.
Yeah, I want to see Mark.
I want to see him. I'm going to invite him to go.
So we were going to go eat at a place called the Boston Sea Party.
Is it still there?
You know, I don't know. There's that big fish on Piedmont, and the thing you need to know about Mark is he does not eat seafood.
Anything that's even touched seafood. And all my life, I've had to explain it. And the people are like, you just have never had any good seafood, or you would be like it. I was like,
well, it's
no.
lake food and creek food
And all
too.
this
You
kind of
just don't
stuff.
eat
I
fish.
just don't. And so finally, another friend of mine said, just tell them you're allergic. And so I said from then on, I'm allergic, and it's just nip.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
nip
says
it,
any
nip it, nip it, nip it.
So her boss was on his third or fourth wife.
I think it was fourth.
And she was young like me, and so she wanted me to sit by her. Deborah was like, no, he's sitting right here. And then I said, okay, Deborah's her boss. I go over there. And so I'm directly across the table from Deborah, sitting next to the almost my same age fourth wife. And then that's that. And Deborah's there. And Deborah's a nervous wreck because she's the lady who said, you're just so much fun and da-da-da. And so she said, do you like caviar? And before I could say anything, she had dipped a spoonful of caviar and put it into my mouth. I was like, I am fixing to spew this caviar right on this table. And Deborah looked at me and went, swallow.
Swallow.
And I was like,
he was a good sport about that. And so we got finished, and I had not really been anywhere since Henry died. And so
she was a grieving widow.
I know. I had heard of this place called the Limelight.
God help
And
me.
I was very much into disco back then. So I said, Mark, let's go to the Limelight.
I had passed it because it was kind of near where I went to school.
You're
but
right.
I had never gone in.
Okay, so he said,
probably
all
wouldn't have.
right. I have never been to Studio 54 in New York, but I thought it probably was like that.
miniature.
They had a glass floor that you could see through, and they would put everything from tigers to they'd fill out water and put sharks. And then you had the Go-Go Girls, I guess that's what they were called back in the 70s. It was just dancing, and then you had these private rooms you could rent and go in there and do God knows what. So
basically, think of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, that's what you've
That's
always
what she
said.
took me to Sodom and Gomorrah, and I was just a young, I was exposed to things I had never seen before because of that. I was so scared I was going to turn into a pillar of salt when I turned around like that lady did.
you didn't turn around and look at it as we left. We danced till 4 o'clock in the morning.
I could not hear y'all because it was so loud, and I had never.
It was wonderful.
I had never been in that kind of situation, so I literally could not hear for 2 days, and I thought God is punishing me for going to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, yeah.
And Deborah was like, yeah, that's nothing, because she went to Sodom and Gomorrah every day.
No, I was kind of the wild child. Mark was not. So anyway, Mark took me back to the hotel, left, and I thought, he is so much fun. After that, we just kind of became inseparable.
Until I get an email or whatever we had back then.
No, you did not have email.
I got a phone call from my panel of people at the Atlanta College of Art. So I had to drive up to Atlanta, and I wanted Deborah to go, but she was working. And I sit down, and there's like 4 people, these ominous teachers, and I'm like, so what's up? And they go, has something changed in your life?
You better believe it.
And I was like, what are you talking about? No. I said, I've been traveling back to Macon more. They said, well, it's showing up in your work. And I was thinking, you sure there's been no changes at all? And I was like, I don't think so. And then I went, you're talking about Deborah. And they said, who is Deborah? And I said, we've just been...
The love of my life.
We've been kind of dating. And I said, they said, well, you've got like 3 more months to get your degree. You just need to forget about Deborah and Sodom and Gomorrah and finish your classes. So I had to have a little break to get finished.
Well, I don't know if you call what we did dating. I mean, we just kind of fell into one another. It was just... And I've told people this too, I'm sorry for what happened to Henry. He was a wonderful person, but we were meant to be. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just tearing up again, so we can't talk about it long.
All right.
Don't think that I was not glad when I saw 33, because he was 32.
I think it was like January, February. Mark's sister lived in Athens, and she got really sick, so we needed to go up and pick up her daughter, Dallas. Dallas and our daughter Courtney are like 13 days apart, so we went up and got Dallas. We were coming back, and Dallas is in the back asleep. And I don't know which one of us said it first, but we just, you want to get married? Going down the road from Athens to Macon.
We already been to Sodom and Gomorrah.
That's right. Why not? So we decided that we were going to get married in April 17th to be exact. People thought we had lost our mind.
The best part about it is if our son Blake, if he had come to us with a person that was 7 years older that already had a
you were
baby.
just 21.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking about you were 27.
Yeah, 27.
And 28, and I was just 21, and automatically she's got a child, so I'll be marrying her and the child. And said that to my parents. If he said that to us, I would go, you absolutely
No,
cannot.
I would say go to your room.
So the reason it worked with my family is because they knew Deborah
knew
the whole
me
time, as you recall.
and loved me.
The best compliment I ever got was her mother called me a gigolo. Because she didn't like me at all and didn't want me over there with Deborah. I had my teachers complaining. Your mother was complaining, but my parents were cool.
We got married April 17th, 1982 at the Hay House.
Which was a big deal back then because...
Yeah. It was the first wedding after the owners had given the house to the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation.
And for anyone listening that's not in this area, because the Hay House is a big deal in Macon. It's
18,000 square foot Italian villa that was finished the year the Civil War began. And the husband and wife took a 2-year honeymoon to Europe.
We didn't get to take that.
To buy all the furnishings and the artwork and everything. And one thing about Macon, too, is when Sherman began his march to the sea and had burned Atlanta to the ground, started in Chattanooga, Atlanta, he bypassed Macon. And there was only ever one cannonball, I think it was during this time, fired into the city of Macon, and it landed. They were trying to hit the Hay House, but it landed in the transom, went through the transom, and landed in what we now call the Cannonball House. Y'all need to come.
And it's only this big.
Yeah,
it's heavy, but I
if
thought
you've
it would be
never
big.
visited Macon, don't bypass us.
So the
It's
reason I brought
wonderful.
that up about the Hay House is because we, having lived here, we know what it is. But every time I would tell about this when we were visiting another state or
Yeah.
whatever, they'd be like, "Is it a farm
Barn?
or barn?" Because that was the last name
Yeah,
of the people.
let's see, Johnson,
Felton
Hay, or
House.
Felton Johnson Hay. I don't remember.
So they even covered it. It was a big deal. They covered it from the
Yeah, we
newspaper.
got it.
We
We
had a
got
whole
the
spread
newspaper.
in the paper about it.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
We had to pay for every guest as if they were taking a tour
Yeah,
of
I
the
remember
house.
that. And we could not have.
Oh, I got to mention it. Fran Lafarge.
Fran
I don't know what's
Lafarge.
happened to Fran. I've lost contact, but she was
A
something
stickler.
else about that Hay House. All those beautiful silk
Well, they had
tapestries.
no renovations really, as far as getting back down to the original
But they had the
wallpaper,
furniture.
and the furniture was there, and the statue of Ruth was in this little kind of bay
Alcove,
window
yeah.
alcove. Then that's what we got married in front of her, and the wedding was absolutely gorgeous. This is kind of odd. I needed to go shop for a wedding dress because a second marriage, I was kind of leery of doing the whole thing. But Mark said, this is the only time, hopefully, I'm going to get married. We're going to have a to-do.
But we had to love you to invite you because we had to pay for the
That's
tour of the
right.
Hay House.
So Mark and his mom actually went to Saks in Atlanta to help me pick out the wedding dress. And so when the woman started bringing them, she said, "Mother and brother," and I said, "No, mother-in-law and groom."
She's
went,
like,
"Okay."
Well, we thought we had to forget that about you. You're not supposed to be the bride
Yeah.
on the
Well,
day.
Mark actually did my hair and did the flowers and everything
Because
else.
after
so-
Deborah had already, predicted all that other stuff, I thought nothing
Yeah.
worse could happen than that. So then we now have been married 44 years.
44 years. I cannot believe it.
And have
All right, tell them what you said to me on our wedding day.
we were going to write our own vows.
Mark is better at that stuff than I am.
You worked with the paper circulation. I was a writer. For
That's
the,
right.
So anyhow, I just wrote my little thing, and I had to commit it to memory, which was I'm a very live kind of person, even on television and all that. But I'm not well with somebody rehearsing. It's got to be the same thing. Deborah, on the other hand, went, which is a valid thing to do, and just got
I just got a
some
bunch of poetry books and smash-mashed everything together.
and shoved it together and
Read it.
Well, I was over there memorizing mine. I think she had a little roll-out thing from her.
The ending for-
of the
yes.
poem, I said,
We got to hold hands for this. Okay.
April 17th will always be our day, a day for us to remember. It's the day I married my best friend, and the day I found my treasure at Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, hush.
So between her husband dying on Christmas Day, our life we have really just about covered
We're
every
going
kind
to
of
have
tragedy.
to cover that in another.
We will, but I mean, we have been
podcast.
steadfast.
That's right, we have.
Through everything that was thrown our way, and I wouldn't trade anything for
I
it.
wouldn't either, darling. I'd do it all over again.
So if anybody ever asks you if you've heard the Mark Ballard, Deborah Ballard, how they met story,
Origin story.
all you have to remember is Deborah's a cougar and got a young man.
The years don't matter quite as much now.
Thanks for joining me. We'll come up with something else Southern and something else Macon related for the next show. Thanks for joining our conversation. One of my favorite things to do is share tales of our unique South. I hope you're going to come back because there's always more. Thank you to our sponsors at Carlisle Place at Home. Check out at Mark Creates on Instagram and shop my artwork on Etsy. Hosted by Mark Ballard, Genuinely Southern is a podcast by Creek Media. The show is produced by Mark and Deborah Ballard and produced and edited by Stephanie Shadden. Follow us on social media at Gen South Pod and message us with questions you'd like to hear discussed on future episodes. Engage with us, like us, subscribe, share with a friend. Be sure to stream this and more podcasts you may love at streamthecreek.com.